Have you ever been in a room full of people but felt completely and totally alone? Well, today we're going to get into that feeling. And it's not about being lonely in the way you might think. It's about something much deeper, the psychology of high social perception.
You know the feeling. Maybe you're chatting with a friend and you can just see that their smile doesn't quite reach their eyes. Or you walk into a meeting and even though everyone's being super polite, you can feel the tension in the air. It's almost like you have an extra sense, right? One that's tuned into the quiet, invisible stuff.
And this leads to such a strange paradox. You're at a party or a concert or even just in a busy office, and there's this weird sense of being separate. It's not that you don't want to connect, it's just that your brain is processing everything, the tiny glances, the little shifts in tone, all the unspoken drama, and it kind of creates a wall between your world and theirs.
So first things first, let's just validate that feeling, that sense of being an outsider. It often comes from this unique and sometimes isolating experience of seeing what everyone else seems to miss. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? All that subtext, the hidden feelings, the real emotions simmering under the surface, for you, it's deafening. It's so loud. But you look around and it feels like nobody else even hears the music playing.
And look, this is so important to get. This is not a character flaw. You're not too sensitive or antisocial. Your brain is just wired differently. It's processing the social world on a higher, more detailed frequency, picking up on all the little things that just fly right past most people.
So what do we even call this? It's not just some vague idea. It actually has a name. And figuring that out is really the first step to understanding it and maybe even using it. Which, of course, brings us to the big question. Why? What's the actual psychological reason for this heightened awareness? Well, it turns out there's a real framework for this. And the answer is a concept called high social perception. Let's just break that down. It's this heightened and often totally subconscious ability to pick up on and figure out all these subtle cues that most people just miss. We're talking microexpressions, tiny changes in voice, even just the vibe of a room. You are essentially an expert at reading between the lines.
Okay, but here's the catch. Like any kind of superpower, this ability is a total double-edged sword. It comes with some absolutely incredible gifts, but man, it also has some very, very real challenges. You've really got two sides to this coin. On the one hand, you have these amazing gifts, an empathy that lets you form incredibly deep connections, an intuition that's almost never wrong. But on the flip side, you're constantly dealing with the threat of social burnout, a mind that just won't shut off, and the heavy weight of feeling everyone else's emotions. Let's talk about the tough stuff first. You ever get home from a party and feel just completely wiped out? That's because you weren't just hanging out. You were processing a fire hose of data from every single person there. Small talk can feel physically painful because you're so aware of the much deeper things that aren't being said. And you probably take on other people's stress like a sponge. But then there are the gifts. And they are huge. When you connect with someone, it's not superficial. You go deep. You're the friend that people come to for advice because you just get it. At work, being able to read the room is a legitimate superpower. And that gut feeling you always have, that intuition, it's not magic. It's just your brilliant subconscious putting all those little pieces together.
So the real question is, how do we tip the scales? How do we take this thing that so often feels like a burden and turn it into a reliable, incredible strength? Well, let's get into some strategy.
Probably the single biggest mindset shift you have to make is this. You can't turn it off. And honestly, you shouldn't want to. It's part of you. The goal isn't to build a giant wall to block everything out. It's to build a control panel, so you get to decide how much information gets in and when.
Okay, so how do you actually build that control panel? It really boils down to 3 simple but powerful steps. 1, acknowledge it. This is you, own it. 2, set boundaries. This is non-negotiable. Learn to leave early, to say no, and to schedule real downtime for yourself. And 3, find your people, the ones who fill you up instead of drain you. And honestly, this is the master strategy. Think of yourself as the curator of your own social life. You are intentionally choosing who gets your time and your energy. It's never going to be about having 100 acquaintances. It's about having those few connections that are real, deep, and actually make you feel good.
So let's wrap this all up with a really powerful idea.
For a long time, you might have felt like seeing the world this way was a problem that needed to be fixed. But it's not. It's the exact opposite. It's the very foundation for incredible insight, true empathy, and the kind of connections that actually make life worth living. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to chew on. What if that feeling of walking alone isn't a sign that you're an outcast or that you're falling behind? What if it's just a sign that you're walking a little bit ahead, seeing the path more clearly than everyone else?